Chapter 21 Traveling to the Shackle Hills. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chen Feng got up from the bed and wore a new pair of robes as he looked at Shiryu with a pondering gaze. All right, but I don't understand what you do with the purple illusion flowers, Chen Feng asked curiously. It's just that the smell of the flower makes me feel calm whenever you are not home, Shiryu said with a calm look on her face. Oh, I see. In that case you can go, but make sure to return quickly. Chen Feng agreed as he thought nothing was weird about this, while Shiryu scoffed inwardly. Idiot, how does he not realize what I have been doing with the flowers all these years? A foolish person indeed, Shiryu thought to herself as she left the room. Noel, and inside the pleasure hall a young woman with long light blue hair was staring at the handsome man with black hair in front of her with her arms crossed over her ample chest. Lingxi, I promise after I return I will entertain you, Wang Ming said with a pleading look in his eyes when Wang Ming came to inform Bai Lingxi that he was going to depart from here for a few days to visit the Shackle Hills. She became annoyed as she would miss his body warmth for a few days, even though she immediately ripped his clothes open and enjoyed his body a few moments ago. Sigh, okay, at least tell me the reason why you are going, Bai Lingxi asked after releasing a tired sigh from her lips. You see, Lingxi, if I keep having fun here, which I obviously enjoy, I would become rusty, and what is the point of becoming stronger if I don't engage in combat and utilize my skills? I also need monster cores to sell for spirit stones, Wang Ming explained to Bai Lingxi. Fine, but I will accompany you as you are unfamiliar with the hills, Bai Lingxi said in a tone that would not accept any refusal. Sure, suit yourself, Wang Ming said in a nonchalant way. Humph, Bai Lingxi responded with a snort. By the way, do you have a weapon to hunt down monsters? You are not planning to fight barehanded, right? Bai Lingxi asked as she narrowed her eyes. Humph, do you think I am some kind of idiot? Of course, I have a weapon, Wang Ming harumphed as he reached out toward his space pouch. Then a sword appeared in his right hand which had flower patterns carved on the steel blade. Bai Lingxi could feel the power radiating from the sword when Wang Ming grabbed the hilt of the sword. Such a pretty sword, and the power radiating from it seems to be quite high. Ranked. Dear, it must be quite rare. What rank is the sword at? Bai Lingxi asked Wang Ming. It's not that rare or high ranked, it is a heaven rank sword of the peak grade, Wang Ming said casually, as he thought it was not special when he compared this to ancient rank weapons that he could buy from the system. While Bai Lingxi was rooted on spot and spoke in a shaky voice. What rank and grade did you say it was at? Bai Lingxi asked while stuttering. It is a heaven-ranked sword of the peak grade, Wang Ming replied, not understanding why she was acting like this. When Bai Lingxi saw the confusion on his face, she took a deep breath to calm her nerves. Why are you acting like this? Is not a big deal. Do you even know how precious the sword you are holding is, and where the hell did you get this from? Bai Lingxi asked. Wang Ming had a sudden realization that he forgot that even though he can get even better ranked weapons later, which is normal for him, but for the people around him, a heaven rank weapon is a treasure in their eyes which he was casually holding. Oh, I had a lucky encounter while traveling and by chance, I got my hands on this sword. Wang Ming said this as he did not know how he should explain the system. He also did not want to put Bai Lingxi in any kind of unknown danger that might be associated with the system due to its unknown origin. Bai Lingxi frowned as she could sense that Wang Ming was hiding something, but did not push him any further for an answer. Forget it, everyone has their own secrets which they might not be comfortable sharing, Bai Lingxi thought inwardly. Fine, forget if you don't want to say it, I understand everyone has some secrets they don't want to share. Let's go now, Bai Lingxi sighed as she gestured Wang Ming to follow her, which he did with a smile. The Shackle Hills encompass a very wide area. From east to west, they span close to 1,000 miles, while from south to north, they cover close to 400 miles. It is the largest mountain range in the northern region of the Black Bamboo Empire. There are many beasts of various realms inhabiting the mountain range, and there is also a large variety of different spiritual medicine plants growing there which are used in alchemy. Sometimes, some precious metals that could be used to forge high-grade weapons can also be found there. As a result, there are many who enter here for training trips, as well as many whose target was the numerous treasures in this place. However, the death toll amongst those who enter the mountains has increased by a huge number, so few people can be found here in recent times, so we have to be careful when we visit the Shackle Hill." While they were walking toward the Shackle Hills, Lingxi started to describe what she knew about the Shackle Hills. "Why did the death increase so much?" Wang Ming asked with curiosity. "Well, some speculate that a powerful beast appeared killing them, while some say that there is a group of bandits that target who enter the hills, but no one can be sure for certain," Bai Lingxi said. A day later, Wang Ming and Bai Lingxi appeared at the entrance of the Shackle Hills. Chapter 22-22. A mysterious occurrence. You are listening at novelfull.audio. "So, this is the Shackle Hills." Wang Ming stared at the scenery in front of him in excitement. The forest was full of excessively tall and lush vegetation, with deep emerald green color flooding the entire region. Some trees were so towering that their crowns blotted in the sky. The trees seemed to have grown for hundreds of years under the gracious blessing of Mother Earth. They would contain spiritual energy that could provide extreme benefits to the living beings within their vicinity. Beneath the trees were various medicinal plants that could be used in alchemy to produce pills. The forest solely operated under the law of the strong, where the strong will dominate over the weak. One had to be vigilant at every moment, otherwise, death might come in an instant. "Yeah. Every time I come here I am amazed by the rich resources the forest contains," Bai Lingxi said. Suddenly, a deafening roar entered Wang Ming's ears which disturbed him from his thoughts. Currently, a humongous red tiger stood on a branch of such one tree. Its body was covered with black stripes while its fangs were crystalline red. Some distance away, a large blue wolf was drinking water from a pond. The tiger leaped out from the branch while spitting out a stream of red-hot flames as it charged toward the wolf. The wolf, sensing a hostile intent directed towards it, leaped out of the way, but the tiger easily slashed the wolf with one of its sharp claws which were covered in flames, leaving a deep bloody wound on its side. The tiger was in the 9th stage of the Foundation Realm, while the injured wolf was only in the 3rd stage of the Foundation Realm. The tiger halted its step and stopped going after its prey as it directed its gaze toward Wang Ming and Bai Lingxi with murderous intent. The beast threw back its head and roared loudly. The shockwaves made the monsters in the area experience a severe headache, with their bodies stiffening up. Some of the beasts even had blood flowing down from their ears and nose. Wang Ming, "Shit, it is in the 9th stage of the Foundation Realm," Bai Lingxi said as she nervously clutched to Wang Ming's robe. Wang Ming did not pay attention to Bai Lingxi's nervous voice, as it seemed he did not hear her at all. For some strange reason, he felt his blood pumping faster and heat up really quick. His eyes turned blood red, which made the tiger get rooted on the spot, and its body was covered in a cold sweat. "Kill, kill, kill, fight, fight, fight." Wang Ming had his mind clouded with the thought to kill everything in front of him. Abnormalities have been detected in the host body. Wang Ming unsheathed his sword and charged toward the tiger with eyes filled with killing intent. Heavenly Sword Art. First form. Flickering strikes. Wang Ming instantly disappeared from his spot and swung the sword at the tiger. With the swing of his sword, the head of the tiger was cleanly cleaved off from its neck, and blood gushed out like a fountain from the headless neck. Seeing the blood flowing, his killing intent swore even more, frightening Bai Lingxi behind him. Wang Ming, what happened to you?" Bai Lingxi asked while stuttering, as she thought she was staring at the abyss of death itself, but he still remained unresponsive. Those blood-red eyes seemed to pierce through her soul, making her look away from fear. Attempting to awaken. Attempt failed. Ugh! A grunt escaped Wang Ming's mouth as he clutched his head tightly while trying to fight the severe headache he was feeling at the moment. Soon his blood-red eyes returned to normal and he looked beneath his foot. Sanity regained. When did I do this? Wang Ming looked at the corpse of the tiger below him and was shocked to see that its head was cleaved from its neck and the ground beneath the corpse was soaked in blood. Memories of what he did started to resurface in his mind, and he was shocked because he does not recall when he did or how he did this. System, what the hell happened? Wang Ming asked the system for a reply. System message. It would be wise for the user not to pry into this matter anymore, as the user won't be able to do anything about it. The system would suggest user focuses his attention to increase his cultivation as quickly as he can. Wang Ming kept staring at the system for a few moments and sighed as he decided to not ask any further questions, even though he was curious to know what happened to him a few moments ago, but decided to follow the system's advice as he knew he would not get any answers from it. Even if he asked. System message. Looks like the user is coming out of his shell and evolving into something other than being an idiot. Children are growing up really fast. Wang Ming's eyes twitched and his lips started quivering. I really would have smacked it, if it had a physical form. Wang Ming thought in his mind, Lingxi, are you okay? Wang Ming saw that Bai Lingxi's body was trembling and had a hunch why she was acting like this. Bai Lingxi looked at Wang Ming and saw that his eyes were not red anymore and had regained his normal demeanor. What had gotten into you earlier? Your eyes had turned red all of a sudden and were filled with killing intent, which I never experienced in my life. Bai Lingxi asked with a bit of fear in her voice. Honestly, I have no idea. This happened for the first time in my life. It seemed like I was a different person and the blood flowing from the corpse made my blood boil in excitement and I wanted to fight and kill even more, Wang Ming said helplessly as he himself did not know what had gotten into him. Well, at least you are fine now. Bai Lingxi looked at him with a piercing gaze and seemed to find no traces of any lies in his words and spoke with a sigh. Chapter 23 Ch 23, Illusory in Physique. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Boom. Boom. Before Bai Lingxi could even catch her breath from the shock she received due to Wang Ming's sudden change a few moments ago, suddenly both of them picked up ear-splitting sounds from the distance ahead of them. What the hell was that? Bai Lingxi asked. Let's go check it out, Wang Ming said as he rushed forward. Hey, it might be something dangerous. Forget it. Bai Lingxi was about to warn Wang Ming, but before she could say anything he disappeared from the place. Bai Lingxi started following him from behind. Hey, move a little slower next time, I almost couldn't keep up with you, Bai Lingxi complained even though her cultivation was higher than him. Wang Ming gestured for her to keep quiet with his hands. Bai Lingxi crouched near Wang Ming, who was looking at what was happening in front of him through the bushes which concealed his and Bai Lingxi's presence. A woman with long black hair, deep black eyes with an otherworldly face like a fairy. She had a curvaceous body and large breasts comparable to Bai Lingxi, was currently kneeling and panting heavily while being besieged by a group of silver-colored apes. Wang Ming was left stunned by her heavenly beauty as he started to compare her to Bai Lingxi's own beauty, which he concluded would be on par. Soul eyes. Wang Ming looked at the woman in front of him and applied his technique. Name: Shi Yu, age 28, cultivation 6th stage of the Foundation realm, occupation wife of Chen Feng, physiques illusory in physique, ancient rank, bloodline none. Wang Ming's eyes widened when he saw that he was the wife of the bastard who had covetous thoughts about Bai Lingxi and how he promised that bastard he would cuck him. Fuck, that bastard Chen Feng has such a hot wife, he doesn't deserve her. I must fulfill the promise I made to him, Wang Ming thought in his mind, and his eyes were burning in resolution. Wow, she even has a unique physique, truly a fabulous woman, Wang Ming thought. System: what is the specialty of the illusory in physique? Wang Ming asked the system in his mind so that Bai Lingxi cannot hear him. System message: the illusory in physique is an ancient rank physique that grants the female possessor unparalleled beauty. This physique is one of the best known physiques for female dual cultivators. The male who takes the virgin in chi of the possessor will achieve a huge breakthrough instantly and also increase the rate at which the male cultivator achieve breakthroughs in the future. The illusory in physique also provides the possessor with an orb which needs to be infused with the purple illusion flower to make use of the illusion abilities until she loses her virginity. After the possessor loses her virginity, the orb will merge with the possessor, will allow the female to gain a huge breakthrough instantly. Like, for the male cultivator who took her virgin in chi, the female's cultivation speed will increase every time she has with her partner who took her virgin in chi. All the results will be multiplied if the male has a unique yang physique. The system explained in detail while Wang Ming listened with a serious expression. System: what will happen if I am the one who takes her virgin in chi? Wang Ming asked with curiosity and impatience. System message: if the user somehow manages to gain the individual Shi Yu's pure in chi, user will immediately reach the first stage of the Golden Core realm and will be rewarded with abundant dual cultivation points. The system answered Wang Ming's question while he was frozen in shock for a brief moment. I have to think of a way to seduce her. I don't know how long it will take, Wang Ming pondered. Soul eyes, Wang Ming muttered as he inspected the beasts in front of him. Name: silver-furred apes, cultivation Fifth stage of the Foundation realm. Shit, I don't think she will survive their onslaught seeing how injured she is. I better act quickly, Wang Ming said to himself. Of course, you will, I can see you ogling at her, Bai Lingxi said with a snort, to which Wang Ming smiled wearily. Ha, this woman can read my thoughts very easily, Wang Ming concluded in his mind a few minutes ago. Before Wang Ming arrived, Shiryu crouched down on the grassy field and started to pluck purple illusion flowers. I wonder how many more days I have to bear with seeing that bastard's face. Shiryu spoke in annoyance. I better finish with my work here and return back home, otherwise that disgusting creature might come looking for me here, Shiryu muttered as she started infusing the orb with some of the purple illusion flowers she picked up. Stomp stomp. Suddenly, Shiryu heard the sound of loud footsteps approaching her. When she raised her head to see the source of the footsteps, her beautiful face turned pale. 11 humongous apes that had sharp fangs coming out of their mouths, and their entire body was covered in silver fur which gave them a majestic appearance. How the hell did they notice my presence? I am sure I concealed my presence like usual. It should be impossible for them to detect unless something or someone led them towards me. Shiryu deduced, because in all these years she has been visiting this place to collect the purple illusion flowers, she never encountered any kind of beasts due to orb's illusion power. Growl growl growl. All 11 of the silver fur apes were staring at Shiryu menacingly. It seemed they wanted to tear her from limb to limb and devour her blood. Their stares sent chills down her spine as she got ready into a battle stance. Shit, all the beats are in the 5th stage of the Foundation realm. I really might die if I am not careful today, Shiryu said to her as the 2 of the silver fur apes pounced on her. Purple illusion mist. When the words left Shiryu's, a purple mist radiated from the orb that she was holding that flew towards the beasts that were rushing toward her. Chapter 24 Ch 24, Illusory Physique, Part. 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Purple colored mist gushed out from the orb which was held in the palms of Shiryu that flew toward the 2 silver-furred apes. The mist completely shrouded both of the incoming figures, which forced them to a sudden halt. Boom boom. Both of the figures trapped within the mist started to fight each other with their huge fists, while the other 9 silver-furred apes were scratching their heads in confusion. Roar roar. The other 9 apes were roaring at them as if asking why we're beating each other up. Both of them ignored the roaring as if they had lost all their reasoning, and slowly both of their bodies became bloody and battered, caused by the strikes that they threw at each other. The other apes failed to notice due to they were engaged in trying to figure out how to make them stop fighting each other, that a pair of eyes were staring at them like a predator and waiting for them to injure each other more. Looks, the illusion I cast worked perfectly. If it were humans instead of these simple-minded beasts, they would have noticed that I did something with them and I would already be a corpse at this moment, Shiryu said with a grim expression. Precision strikes, muted movements. Shiryu took out a black-colored dagger from her space ring and activated 2 of her techniques. Using the technique, muted movements, she slowly walked towards the 2 silver-furred apes that were completely covered in blood and were panting due to exhaustion. Shiryu approached them without making any form of sound. After she got close enough, she clenched the dagger tightly in her hands and swung it toward the throat of one of the injured apes. The dagger with the technique, precision strikes, activated immediately killed the ape by slicing through its throat. Shiryu was about to do the same for the second ape, but she quickly veered the dagger which was about to strike the second ape to block the incoming fist that was directed towards her head. Roar. Another ape that was standing on the sidelines had launched an attack on her, sensing her killing intent, which became uncloaked when she killed the first ape. Ugh. Shiryu grunted in pain as she had to use all her strength to block the strike, but still ended up getting injured badly, which also resulted in her arm getting fractured. Roar. The ape that attacked Shiryu turned towards its companions and started to communicate with them as they stared at Shiryu with bloodshot eyes and unconcealed murderous intent. Damn it, I can't move my arm, Shiryu cursed as she tried to get up, but to no avail. The group of apes started to close in on her. They began to encircle her with smirks on their beastly face. Sigh. Looks like this is the end for me, Shiryu thought to herself. I am sorry girls, I failed to keep my promise to you that I will free you guys from Chen Feng's clutches. Tears started to stream down her face. It was not due to her own death that was approaching her, but because She will be unable to fulfill her promise and also take revenge for her family's death. Seeing the miserable state of the helpless human woman in front of them, the beast started grinning and threw a punch at Shiryu's head which would plop like a watermelon if struck. Shiryu closed her eyes when the fist neared her face, when all of a sudden she heard the voice of a man that carried so much warmth toward her that she had not experienced for years. "Tears don't suit a beautiful face like yours," Wang Ming said while his mind was burning with rage when he saw a beauty like her getting besieged by a group of ugly beasts, and his rage was further ignited by the grin on their ugly faces. Wang Ming took out his sword and swung it toward the arm of the beast, separating it completely from its body. Roar! The ape roared loudly from the anguish it was feeling due to its arm being chopped off from its shoulder. Shiryu abruptly opened her eyes and saw a man so handsome that would be every women's wet dream looking at her with warm eyes which struck a chord in her heart that made her heart start to beat rapidly. Shiryu saw how easily he chopped off the arm of the beast which was way stronger than him. Roar! Shiryu came out of her stupor at the loud roar of the beasts that were charging toward the young man that saved her. "Be careful," Shiryu shouted as she did not want her savior to die. Wang Ming just smiled at her and looked coldly at the 5 silver furred apes that were charging toward him with killing intent. Heavenly sword art. First form. Flickering sword strikes. In the blink of an eye, Wang Ming vanished from the spot and severed the heads and arms of the beasts without giving them a chance to retaliate. The other 4 silver-furred apes, seeing how easily Wang Ming slaughtered their companions, started to retrace their steps, and when Wang Ming's gaze fell on them, they started shivering and started to run away. "Humph, you want to escape, dream on." Wang Ming snorted and started slaughtering the beasts that were escaping. Yu's mouth opened and closed several times when she saw how easily Wang Ming slaughtered the beasts, which she was unable to do even though she had higher cultivation than him. Who is he? What kind of sword technique is this? That sword emits such a powerful aura. What rank and grade are the sword at? Why have I never heard of someone so powerful and handsome as him? Those beasts were much stronger than him. How did he do it so effortlessly? Heck, I can sense he is only at the 3rd stage of the Foundation Realm, while I, being in the 6th stage of the Foundation Realm, nearly died. If not for him, how the hell did he kill them? Several questions popped up in her mind when she noticed Wang Ming walking to her. Chapter 25 ch 25, Shiryu's boldness. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Shiryu saw the young man nearing close to her. All of a sudden she felt 2 strong arms clutching her soft body and pulling her into a warm embrace. Shiryu on instinct hugged him back due to the warmth she was feeling at the moment. She could feel her head against his hard broad chest, and with her hands, she could feel the thick muscles on Wang Ming's back. For some reason, she felt her body heat up and there was a weird itch between her legs. Wang Ming brought her out of his embrace, and Shiryu felt the loss of comfort and warmth which made her frustrated. Unconsciously Wang Ming held her delicate face between with his 2 hands and wiped the tears that dripped from her red eyes with his thumb. "Are you okay, beautiful miss?" Wang Ming said with a radiant smile that brought her out of his daze when Shiryu realized that she had been so intimate with a man she met for the first time in her life, and her face started to heat up. As a result she turned into a blushing mess. Bai Lingxi on the other hand just looked at them with amused eyes. TSK, another one bites the dust against his charms. Not that I blame her, I would have also fallen for his charms if he saved my life when I was in a near-death state. I wonder how long it will take for him to get inside her robes. Bai Lingxi started to deduce in her mind. Yes, thank you are saving my life, Shiryu said in a quivering voice. Due to the narrow distance between her own face and Wang Ming's face she could feel his hot breath on her face. A beautiful woman such as yourself should never have tears on their face, Wang Ming said as he wiped the tear from her other eyes with his fingers. Shiryu put both of her hands on her chest to calm down her heart, which was beating rapidly, that seemed as if it would jump out of her chest, and tried to control her erratic breathing. Wang Ming created a distance between them when it looked like her face would explode due to redness which was visible to the naked eyes. "Beautiful miss, how should I address you as?" Wang Ming asked with a beautiful smile. "My name is Shiryu, what is your name?" Shiryu asked after regaining her original demeanor. "I am called Wang Ming and the beautiful lady beside me is my lover Bai Lingxi." Wang Ming introduced himself, and Bai Lingxi, who was standing beside him, a red hue appeared on Bai Lingxi's delicate cheeks when he introduced her as his lover. On the other hand, Shiryu was shocked by his identity. "What? She is Bai Lingxi, the woman that bastard Chen Feng was infatuated with for years, no wonder she is as beautiful as a goddess, and the man beside him is Wang Ming who beat up that bastard Chen Feng. Sure you thought as she carefully observed Wang Ming from top to bottom, he really looks like the epitome of male beauty and envy of all males. Moreover, he is really strong, a handsome and strong man that every woman desires for themselves. Maybe he can help me to rescue them and I don't mind becoming his. He is 1,000 times better than any man I have laid my eyes on. Sure Yu's shy demeanor suddenly shifted to a seductive look. He, so you are the famous Wang Ming who beat up my husband. Sure Yu released a chuckle with a sultry look on her face while covering her mouth with her hand. Gulp. Wang Ming swallowed a mouthful of saliva as he was falling deeper into the abyss of lust when he saw her massive breasts jiggle, and her laughter sounded like the whisper of a succubus demon tempting him to devour her. Immediately Wang Ming shook his head furiously as he looked at her. Oh, I beat up your husband, he must have done something to offend me as I am not the type of person who initiates a fight normally. By the way, what is your husband's name? Wang Ming feigned ignorance as he already learned about her and her husband's identity when he used soul eyes on her. He is called Chen Feng. I am sure this name rekindled your memory. Sure You've said with a sly smile. Oh, you mean the guy with one of the ugliest faces, who got knocked by me with just a single punch in the gut, Wang Ming said while hurling an insult at Chen Feng. Yes, that's him. And he is not as ugly as you claim to be. No, on the other hand, compared to someone like you he is definitely ugly. Sure You said while looking at Wang Ming with hungry eyes. Wang Ming raised an eyebrow when he noticed hidden lust contained deep in her eyes. Perhaps she is unhappy with her marriage. This look is similar to what the women on earth who were in an abusive or unhappy marriage used to throw at me. Wang Ming pondered. By the way, I heard that you wanted to do something to me. Sure You said with a sultry look. Oh, what might that be? Wang Ming asked her back. I heard that you said he can't provide me any kind of pleasure with his thing, and you wanted to turn him into a cuckold by fucking me. Sure You spat out such vulgar words which left Bai Lingxi and even Wang Ming speechless for a second. Damn, she is a goner. By the look in her eyes she can't wait to pounce on Wang Ming. Bai Lingxi thought in her mind. She is definitely in an unhappy marriage. I might not even have to seduce her at all. Looking at her hungry eyes, Wang Ming concluded, indeed, I have taken a huge responsibility and vow to satisfy all women in the world and even married women whose husbands cannot satisfy them in bed, and looking at the way he didn't even accompany you to such a dangerous place I am sure he doesn't care and love you one bit, so I must sacrifice myself for your happiness and pleasure. Wang Ming spouted nonsense in such a way that seemed he was making the greatest sacrifice a person could ever do. Bai Lingxi. Sure You. Chapter 26 26, Bandits. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Bai Lingxi and Sure You were left stunned for a brief amount of time when they heard Wang Ming's nonsensical words. How can he say something this shameless with a straight face without any signs of nervousness or embarrassment on his face? Bai Lingxi and Sure You both had the same thought in their mind. You are funny and shameless. Sure You let out a chuckle from her mouth. By the way, let me tell you a secret. I have never let him or any other man lay a hand on me ever. I am still a virgin. Sure You said while dumbfounding Bai Lingxi. Wang Ming already got a hunch from the system that she might be a virgin, so he did not react like Sure You expected, which made her brows to knit. Why is he not acting shocked? Does he think I am not beautiful enough? Sure You thought as nervousness and doubt began to form in her mind. Am I not to your liking? Sure You asked in a low voice. Not to his liking. Woman, couldn't you see him ogling at you all this time? Bai Lingxi snorted in her mind. How can a fairy like you not be liked by a man? Don't misunderstand, I was just thinking how someone as beautiful as you never tasted a man, or how Chen Feng could keep his hands off you. If you were my wife I would have ravaged you every single day. Wang Ming said while he was grabbing her fair dainty hands in his own hands, and when he heard him, she began to become angry, which soon turned into a bashful expression when she heard that how Wang Ming would fuck her every day if she was his wife. If you really want to ravage me I wouldn't mind. Sure You've said shamelessly with a wink. Well, I will soon take up on that offer, but seriously, how the hell did a horny man like Chen Feng manage to keep his hands off you? Wang Ming said curiously. That bastard would have taken my purity already if I did not have a method to restrain him and protect myself. but if you really want to know the reason how I did it you will first have to take me as your woman, sure you said with a mischievous glint in her eyes, to which Wang Ming just smiled. Well, let's talk about this later, first let's find a place to treat your injuries, Wang Ming said as he pointed towards the direction of a nearby cave which he had discovered previously when he was chasing the tiger. After they arrived inside the cave, Sure Yu started to treat her own injuries and wore a fresh pair of robes. Now tell me, how the hell did you find yourself surrounded by the group of those silver-furred apes? Wang Ming asked curiously. Well, I think someone purposely lured them towards me. I have always been careful whenever I visit the Shackle Hills, and I am extremely proficient in avoiding any kind of beasts due to my familiarity with them, so there is no chance of them sensing my presence unless due to the involvement of other humans. Sure Yu concluded with a cold gaze. Oh, do you have any idea who might be responsible for this incident? Wang Ming asked. Well, I have heard rumors of bandits inhabiting the hills, but no one has ever confirmed the rumors, Sure Yu said with a frown on her beautiful face. Well, if they are bandits they should return to check whether you are alive or not, Wang Ming said. I guess you are right. Sure Yu nodded her head in agreement. Meanwhile, at another location in the Shackle Hills, a muscular man with scars covering his entire face that gave him a hideous look. He had thick arms from which veins were prodding out, and he held two beautiful which were devoid of any form of clothing in each of his arms while caressing their soft breasts, and was staring at his subordinates with a menacing glare. I entrusted you fools with one simple task, but you still failed to complete it. Where the hell did that bitch run off to? The man roared at his subordinates, which caused them to tremble in fear. Boss, we were keeping an eye on her, but he would create some distance between us when we saw the woman was surrounded by a large number of silver-furred apes. If we did not retreat a few steps the silver-furred apes would have noticed us, said one of the men with a hint of fear in his voice. What? You fuckers left her alone to die while trying to preserve your worthless life. I should kill all of you for your cowardice. All of you are a shame to the Shadow Bandits group, the boss said while he was trembling with anger as he squeezed the soft breasts of the women with more force in his embrace, making them wince in pain, but they still kept a smile on their face to avoid his wrath falling on them. Did she die from the besiege of the beasts? The boss asked while his body was shaking in anger. The men looked at each other and swallowed nervously before saying the next words. Boss, she is alive, but she is very injured right now, the man said in a low voice. Ha ha ha, even though due to your error, my plan to lure the beast to weaken her still worked. It has been such a long time since a beautiful woman like her visited the Shackle Hills, and when was the last time I enjoyed such a beautiful woman? Hee hee. I can't wait to turn her into my personal whore. Who would have only thoughts about my massive dick inside her? The boss laughed hysterically. Your dick is the smallest we have ever seen. We have to even fake our moans. The two women beside him thought as they were afraid to voice out their thoughts. If the man could hear his thoughts, it would be a massive blow to his pride. BDNV. Boss, it might not be as easy as you think it is, said the man kneeling. Huh, what the hell do you mean by that? The boss looked at him with a deep frown on his face. Chapter 27 ch 27, Sure Yu and Wang Ming. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What do you mean by it won't be as easy as I expect it to be? Isn't she badly injured and my cultivation is also higher than hers? I just didn't want to waste my energy, so I used the beast to weaken her. How can it be not easy for me to capture her? The boss asked the man kneeling with a profound gaze. Boss, think about it, how can she survive the onslaught of the beasts when we didn't provide any aid to her? The man asked while raising his head to look at their boss. Stop talking in riddles, just explain how the fuck did she survive? The boss asked in annoyance. Well, by the time we returned, we thought she would have turned into a corpse, but surprisingly we saw that the ground was full of severed heads and limbs of the silver-furred apes. The man said. Yes boss, he is telling the truth. We also saw a handsome young man embracing the woman you wanted, and he also had an extremely beautiful woman beside him. Another man interjected. Ha ha ha, another beauty, it must be the bastard's woman who laid his dirty hands on my target. I will cripple his cultivation and sever his limbs and make him watch how I ravage his woman beneath me while he helplessly watches. The boss laughed loudly while the subordinates beneath him shivered in fear. Boss, I don't think that's a good idea, another man suggested. Why do you say that? The boss's laughter immediately stopped, and looked at the man who interrupted his thoughts with a narrowed gaze. Boss, I think The woman and man slaughtered all the apes, and judging how long it took us to reach, they must have slaughtered them in a short amount of time, which makes me conclude they must be very strong." The man voiced out his thoughts. You think I can't defeat them? Even if they are strong, they must have run out of spiritual energy from killing the monsters. If we strike now, it will be possible to take them down." The boss snorted. "But, boss, I think we should still avoid them. I have a bad feeling about this," said the man. "Enough, don't act like a coward. If you speak another word, I will sever your head," the boss threatened the man. He immediately closed his mouth in fear. "Hey, do you guys know where they are at this moment?" the boss asked while looking at his subordinates for an answer. "Why? Yes, boss, I saw the three of them heading towards a nearby cave. I think they are resting inside the cave to recover their spiritual energy and heal the injured woman's wounds," one of the men hurriedly answered. "Is that so? Like hell, I would give them a chance to recover. It will take some time for them to recover. Gather all the men and weapons, and we will go with our full force. Even if they are extremely strong, they can't possibly be strong to defeat thousands man with just 3 of them." The boss snorted, and his subordinates immediately bolted out of his sight to make the preparations. Now that all of them left the room, let's finish the current task at hand." The boss looked at the 2 women who were panting heavily with flushed expressions across their faces. With a smirk on his ugly face, the boss started to disrobe both of the women in his embrace and also removed his own robes and started railing their insides with his meat stick. For the next few hours only sounds of moan and wet sounds reverberated across the room. Meanwhile, inside the cave, one handsome young man and one extremely beautiful woman were staring at each other with a mischievous gaze. "Are you sure you want to do this?" Wang Ming asked Shiryu with a serious voice. "Yep, I am sure. It's better I lose my virginity to you instead of some random man. It's not only lust I am feeling towards you, but I can feel the warmth that I have been devoid of for so many years. I feel some kind of strange attraction towards you which I never felt towards anyone else, not to mention a man," Shiryu said with a smile on her face while looking at Wang Ming. "Hey system, is the attraction she is speaking about caused due to our physique?" Wang Ming asked the system inside his mind, as he had a hunch that might be related to their physique. System message: looks like the user is finally developing a functional brain instead of having a turd as his brain. Yes, the user is correct in his assumptions. Whenever a yang physique possessor and a yin physique possessor come in close proximity to each other, they feel a strong sense of attraction to each other, but this happens very rarely, only if they are compatible with each other. For the user's case, as the user saved the female named Shiryu from near death, the compatibility between them has been achieved. So my deduction is correct indeed. But does this system always have to insult me whenever I ask it some kind of question? Wang Ming's eyebrows twitched when he saw the insult that the system hurled at him and had the desire to beat it up. Wang Ming was about to ask Shiryu about her physique, however, he heard something suddenly fall onto the ground and came out of his trance. It was a gentle sound. So whatever dropped just now was light and soft. Wang Ming looked toward the source of the sound and saw a robe on the ground and a pair of bare legs with smooth skin was resting on top of it. Wang Ming saw Shiryu completely devoid of any form of clothing walking towards him with a lustful look on her face. Wang Ming, do you like what you see in front of you? I am sure you do, seeing the state of your little brother, Shiryu said as she stopped in front of Wang Ming, whose eyes were roaming across her body. Chapter 28 Ch28, Shiryu and Wang Ming, Part. 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Gulp *. Wang Ming swallowed a mouthful of saliva as his eyes started to roam across Shiryu's naked body. As his lower region became rock hard, his eyes scanned every part of her body, starting from her massive breasts that seemed to be waiting to be pampered, that were devoid of the touch of a man, the 2 cherry colored tips which were completely erect seemed to be waiting to be sucked by him, and hairless lower lips ignited his lust further. "See how eager my little sister is for the touch of your little brother that is drooling to devour it." Shiryu raised one of her legs to show her dripping wet cunt. Wang Ming could see the pink soft flesh trembling inside as it leaked out love juices. Wang Ming's breathing became hurried when he saw such an enticing sight in front of him, to which Shiryu smirked. Ang, Shiryu let a low moan from her mouth when she felt hot air traveling inside her whole. Wang Ming, not wanting her to gain a dominant position, blew into her nether region and activated his techniques hands and mouth of ecstasy, and yang aura, which increased her arousal even further, which could be seen from her increased breathing. Wang Ming moved his head forward and gave a simple lick over the outside folds of her whole. Oh. Fuck, Shiryu moaned in pleasure when she felt Wang Ming's warm tongue gliding over her lower lips while Wang Ming started to strip his clothes off. When Wang Ming was done removing all of his clothes, Shiryu looked at his body with a hungry expression, and when her eyes fell on Wang Ming's erect manhood her mind turned blank. Will something this big even fit inside my hole? Even if it does, it will tear my insides apart. Shiryu cried inwardly, but also had a look of excitement on her face. Dnav om, Wang Ming, hug me, Shiryu said to Wang Ming. In response he smiled and spread his arms wide open, inviting Shiryu into his embrace. Shiryu pounced on Wang Ming and hugged him tightly in her arms. Wang Ming felt the soft pair of breasts on his firm chest, and the tips from her breasts were poking into his chest. He could feel Shiryu tightly clamp onto his back while breathing heavily, and he could feel some of her warm love juices leaked out from her pussy that fell onto his erect manhood, which made his dick twitch in response. After a brief amount of time had passed, Shiryu's hands started to slide across his back while touching and feeling every muscle, and then her hands moved towards his chest and every other part of his body, feeling the solid muscles of his body. Occasionally she would brush past his erect manhood but avoided touching it properly. Finally, after she was satisfied exploring Wang Ming's body with her hands, she freed him from her embrace and stared into his eyes with a completely red face and somewhat disheveled hair. Wang Ming slowly pinched her dainty chin with his fingers and drew her face close to his face and pressed his lips against hers. Shiryu's eyes widened when she felt soft pair of lips touching her, and her mind froze from the foreign feeling she was feeling at the moment. When Shiryu saw how close Wang Ming's face was to her, Shiryu's face started to heat up and seemed like steam would come out of her head no matter how bold she was. Shiryu was a maiden at heart who was experiencing the warmth of a man for the first time in her life, so it was quite normal for her to experience such embarrassment before she could even react. Wang Ming licked her lips with his tongue, coating them with his saliva, and then slowly parted her lips and teeth with his tongue and invaded her mouth with his tongue. Shiryu could feel something wet and soft licking the insides of her cheek aggressively and occasionally licking her own tongue. It did not take her to be a genius to know that Wang Ming's tongue was playing with her mouth. The sweet taste of his tongue sent waves pleasure across her body. Her mind went blank for a second from the pleasure she was feeling at the moment. She wanted to release low moans, but her mouth was currently sealed by Wang Ming's mouth. Not wanting to lose the fight that was taking place inside her mouth, she started attacking Wang Ming with her own tongue. Shiryu grabbed hold of Wang Ming's head, holding him tightly in her mouth as if she wanted to prevent him from escaping her clutches. MMPH. For the next few minutes, only the wet sounds of one man and one woman making out intensely were heard inside the cave. After Shiryu was satisfied with exploring Wang Ming's mouth and relishing the taste of his mouth, she finally loosened her grip from Wang Ming's head that she was holding. When both of their lips disconnected, a string of saliva formed which seemed to connect both of their mouths together like a bridge. Huff. Huff, huff, that was amazing. Wang Ming. Shiryu was panting heavily while trying to catch her breath as she spoke while staring at Wang Ming with a smile that could even melt the coldest of hearts. If you think that was amazing, then wait for the main course that will turn onto a messed up slut, Wang Ming said with a sly smile. Heh, don't you aw. Before Shiryu could complete her words, she let out a loud moan when she felt a pair of strong hands grab both of her breasts. Wang Ming groped both of her large breasts in the palm of his hands, which seemed to be too large to fit in. Wang Ming started to fondle the huge globes of flesh which made her body tremble lightly. Ngh. Soft moans of pleasure escaped Shiryu's mouth as Wang Ming continued caressing her breasts. Wang Ming stopped fondling her breasts and opened his mouth and gave a lick on her hardened nipples with his tongue. Shiryu's eyes widened due to the heavenly feeling on her breasts and moaned loudly. Yes. Chapter 29 Ch 29, Shiryu and Wang Ming, Part. 3. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wang Ming began licking over her areola region with his tongue while occasionally touching her hardened tips that were driving her insane due to the frustration she was feeling at the moment. Wang Ming. Ha. Huff. Please stop. Huff. Teasing me, sure you said with teary eyes and ragged breathing as she wanted him to devour the tips of her breast completely. Wang Ming just smiled, took one of the nipples into his mouth, and started licking them. Yes. Finally. Sure you screamed in pleasure as her voice echoed inside the cave as she felt the hot tongue sliding over her nipples making her squirm in pleasure with his other free hand. Wang Ming was kneading her other breast while giving some light pinches on the other free nipple. Wang Ming could feel Shiyu's body constantly trembling under his touches. Wang Ming soon started to suck her nipples like a hungry newborn baby, as if wanting to draw out milk from those magnificent breasts. So good, suck them hard, Shiyu screamed as Wang Ming switched over to her other breast and started to suck her other nipple. Yes. I am going to come, Shiyu said screaming when she felt she was close to a massive orgasm. Squirt. Yes, a massive flood of white liquid gushed out from her lower lips when Wang Ming bit the nipples gently inside his mouth. Huff. Ha. Shiyu was breathing heavily and was startled when she felt Wang Ming grabbing her head and shoving her head toward his crotch. I gave you pleasure, don't you think it's time for you to serve me? Wang Ming said as he brought her face in front of his hardened meat stick. Shiyu was inhaling the scent of his erect manhood in front of her as she finally looked at Wang Ming with a smile. Quite the impatient guy you are, Shiyu said with an orgasmic look as she spat on his dick and used her saliva as a lubricant. When Shiyu grabbed his hardened meat stick in her hands, she could feel the warmth and thickness of his hardened member and the occasional twitching of his dick. Shiyu began to move her hand up and down on his dick. Wang Ming let out a low grunt from his lips when he felt the warm hands rubbing over his dick. Shiyu opened her mouth and devoured his dick completely while her massive soft breasts sandwiched his dick between them. She started bobbing down her head while moving her massive breasts at the same rhythm as the movements of her head. Wang Ming's body shuddered due to the double pleasure he was receiving from the blowjob and tit job together. The warm and firm titty pressure was so pleasant that he had to use all of his willpower to not moan, but that failed due to the blowjob he was receiving at the same time. The warm and wet feeling of her mouth accompanied by the motion of her tongue on his dick sent jolts of pleasure across his body. Wang Ming let out a low moan due to the extreme pleasure he was receiving from Shiyu. Slurp. Only slurping sounds could be heard inside the cave followed by their echo. Shiyu, I am close to coming. When Shiyu heard Wang Ming's words she increased the speed of her movements quickly. Wang Ming also started moving his hips and thrusting his dick inside her mouth. Ugh. Yes, Wang Ming grabbed hold of Shiyu's head and released a huge load of milk inside her mouth which caused the girl's mouth to bloat up. Shiyu opened her mouth wide and showed the white liquid on her tongue before swallowing them down her throat. Let's change the position, shall we? Shiyu stood up and sat on Wang Ming's face. The sweet aroma from her lower lips ignited the lust that had quenched from the blowjob he received. He could see the pink folds clearly which were secreting more juices than before. Wang Ming gave a light kiss on the lower lips as he plunged his tongue inside her wet hole. Fuck, Shiyu screamed in pleasure and her eyes rolled back as her tongue came out of her mouth when she felt Wang Ming's tongue licking and sucking every inch of her insides. Wang Ming could feel her pussy walls around his tongue start to clench, preventing his tongue from escaping. Squirt. Yes, this is so good, I cummed again, Shiyu shouted at the top of her lungs when love juices gushed out from her lower lips drenching Wang Ming's face with her warm white liquid. My dear Shiyu, don't you think it's time for the main event? Wang Ming said as he scooped the love juices off his face with his finger and consumed it with his mouth. Shiyu's heart started to beat fiercely when she saw Wang Ming devouring her juices. When she heard Wang Ming mention the main event, she immediately understood what it meant and that it was time for her to turn into a real woman. Shiyu became a bit nervous, wondering if something this big would fit inside her. That made her nerves tense up. She started taking deep breaths to calm her uneven breathing in her heart which was beating rapidly. Are you ready? Wang Ming asked, and observing her nervousness, I am. You can enter, Shiyu said while lying on her back on the ground and spreading her legs wide apart which displayed the wet pink flesh to Wang Ming's eyes. Wang Ming gently approached her and brought his erect dick near the entrance of her pussy, pressing the bulbous tip against her wet opening. He rubbed it over the entrance, lathering the tip of his manhood with the warm and watery love juices produced by her maiden hole. He slowly rubbed the tip up and down her slit, producing a sticky sound. which increased her arousal from the anticipation of the pleasure that was about to come. Here I come, Wang Ming declared as his manhood started to enter the inside of her lower lips. Chapter 30ch30. Sure you and Wang Ming, last part. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wang Ming grabbed her thick butt with his hands and slowly started pushing his dick forward into Yu's wet cave as her vagina started to spread wide apart to accommodate the head of the penis that was intruding inside her. Yu's muscles tensed up when she felt Wang Ming's meat stick enter her and drool started dripping from the edge of her lips. I thought it will be more painful. If it's this much pain I can bear it. Yu wondered in her mind when she recalled how the women she met would describe the pain when they lost their virginity and thought they exaggerated the pain associated with their first time. Hey, relax, this is not even half of my dick that entered you, Wang Ming said when she saw the look on her face as he guessed what she might be thinking. Ugh. Wang Ming grunted from the pleasure that he was feeling from the tightness and warmth of her virgin hole. Yu's breathing became heavy as if she was lacking air. Wang Ming kept moving forward until his movements came to halt when he came in contact with a thin wall that obstructed his advancement. Wang Ming, who was experienced in plucking the virginity of many young maidens, exactly knew what it was. Once he broke through the wall, Yu would lose her status as a virgin. Wang Ming lowered his lips and started sucking on her soft lips while using his hands to massage her breasts and nipples to ease her tense nerves and distract her from the pain that was about to follow. When Yu was completely engrossed in fighting with his tongue with her own and engulfed in pleasure that she felt in her chest area, Wang Ming slowly pushed his manhood forward, breaking through the wall that was preventing him from advancing forward, which caused blood to leak out that was an indication of her turning into a woman from a maiden. Yu's eyes widened and quickly clutched Wang Ming's neck in her arms as she felt a sharp pain spreading throughout her body from her lower region. As tears welled up in her eyes, Wang Ming paused any further movements as he was giving her time to adjust to the pain she was experiencing at the moment. After her face was completely devoid of any form of pain and her grip on his neck loosened, Wang Ming disconnected his lips from hers, giving her time to catch her breath. Huff. Huff. Yu was breathing heavily as if all air had been drained from her body while Wang Ming's penis rested inside her wet and narrow cave. Are you fine now? Can I start moving? Wang Ming asked while looking at her. Why? Yes, you can start moving, the pain is much bearable than before, Yu answered while making eye contact with Wang Ming. Wang Ming pulled out from her moist region as blood flew out from her moist hole before slamming his dick inside again. Yu moaned as a tremor ran across her body from the sensation of his dick brushing against her pussy walls. Ah, so good, Wang Ming moaned when he felt her pussy wall constricting on his meat stick. Wang Ming started to move his dick to and fro as he sent jolts of pleasure across her body. At first she felt a stinging pain along with pleasure, but after a few thrusts the pain completely disappeared, leaving her with the feeling of pleasure only. Bdnvl all. What is this feeling? So good, Yu moaned in ecstasy and her mouth was drooling saliva while her eyes rolled to the back of her head as Wang Ming kept ramming inside her more and more as love juices were being produced by her lower lips, which flew out with each thrust. Yu could not keep her mouth shut due to the intense pleasure which was spreading across her body originating from her pussy. She wrapped her legs around Wang Ming's waist tightly as he continued to slam into her. Yu felt strength leaving her body while her legs were becoming weaker and her mind started to become fuzzy as time continued to pass. She felt as if she was in heaven and would not even mind if she died from the extreme pleasure. Oh. Wang Ming, harder. Faster, Yu said with an orgasmic look on her face as Wang Ming increased the pace with which he was pounding her. Wang Ming grabbed her breasts with his hand and started sucking the erect nipples while he continued to pound her lower lips. Yesss. Suck them hard. Suck all the milk out of my breasts, Yu moaned with more vigor when she felt him sucking and biting on her nipples, and the pleasure from her lower lips and chest drove her near to insanity. Wang Ming could feel her vaginal walls clenching his hardened dick tighter and could feel her insides twitching and spasming as she was close to climaxing. Ugh. I am going to come, Yu said as she could feel herself nearing her limit. Squirt squirt. Ugh. Yes. So good, Yu climaxed when Wang Ming penetrated deeper into her and started hitting her G spots with each thrust. Ugh. I am coming too, Yu, Wang Ming said. He could feel his liquids were close to erupting. Come. Inside me. Paint my insides white with your milk that I don't mind even if I become pregnant with your child, Shiryu said loudly as she clutched his waist with more force. Ugh. Wang Ming let go of all of his restraints and released a huge load inside her hole, painting them with the color of his cum. Oh. Yes. So good, Shiryu moaned, and her entire body shook when she felt a huge amount of warm liquid flooding her insides. Shiryu felt some kind of energy entering her body and gave a look of astonishment towards Wang Ming, as her body became limp from exhaustion and she lost consciousness while lying on the ground.